What is the number one factor that made you guys 10 mil in your early 20s?
This is the part where most people are going to fail because they think that everything isn't working.
The chances of you running a large company is 0 to none. One of my extremely rich friends started off by running a small e-commerce store that was doing $10,000 a month. Then he identified that in one certain niche, in affiliate, he could make way more money with the same skill set.
The difference between people who can find success longer and see more results is how long they're able to keep that switch on of stress.
You're both in your early 20s. What did that growth curve look like at the very beginning?
Oof. I mean, I started seeing success at 21, like a couple months after I turned 21. But I started my whole entire journey when I was 18, 19-ish. And it's just been I wouldn't have taken it on any other way. I think it took me 3 years to actually know what I wanted to do. Like I was just completely lost in the beginning. After 3 years of trying a bunch of different businesses, I found the business that made the most sense. And it took all my experiences from the 3 years of failing and it put it in one. And I think when I found out about it and when I started working towards it, everything just clicked because all my lessons and all my skills that I've built up now are coming together almost like Thanos with the stones, and they came together to just move at a speed that no one else could do around me. From there, it took 2 years till where we're at now. I don't remember hitting 10K a month. I went from hitting, I think I did like 5K that month, and then the next month I did 40. And then it just kept going up and up and up. And I've, praise God, I've never gone under like 50, 40-ish K a month. And it's just been consistent, like, 80 to 100, 100 to 150. And it just ranges in that place. So to this point, the only other thing that has been a massive factor is understanding the principle of leverage and how to actually build leverage as an entrepreneur inside of your business and inside of your life to then focus on what you're optimizing for and what your goals are. So that's been my whole entire journey.
I mean, I have been undercover for a long time, not sharing anything. And I have just 10x'd every single year. I went from having $100,000, a million. I want to get to 10 million in the next 2 years. And I think the exponential growth came by me understanding what makes an entrepreneur. An entrepreneur is not judged by the amount of hours that he works. He's not judged by his skills, but he's judged by which people can he bring as a group together, and that as a collective will then make the shit work. It's not about how smart you are. It's not about all of that. It's literally just, can you bring the right collective together that will then, as a group, go and fucking destroy.
I actually think that like sports managers would probably make some of the best entrepreneurs because their whole entire job is just finding the best talent that's on the market and then taking them and putting them on their team and figuring out if they work together well. So like you take that same exact principle, and for anyone who plays like fantasy football or any of these fantasy leagues, like you're just doing the same exact thing. You're finding the best people that are available in the market and putting them on your team and then just making them work harder than they've ever worked and having everybody bought in. At that point, your only job is to focus on selling them the vision and selling them the idea that they need to work as hard as humanly possible to accomplish that goal as quick as possible.
Facts. I would also add one more point is like exponential growth comes only if there's enough pain behind a person. If you've seen I love this example so much, but why did Elon Musk risk all of his money and then nearly failed, but both of those companies became successful? Because he figured it the fuck out, because there was so much pressure behind him that if he wouldn't succeed, there was no option anymore. Literally, he would be in so much debt, there would be zero options of getting out of it. But he just had so much pressure behind him that he said, okay, I'm gonna figure it the fuck out. And then also your mental, like how strong you're mentally set up determines a lot of your success, right? There's just mental barriers that we as humans have gotten from our childhood, have gotten from our jobs, and so on. And every single time you're at a certain stage, you just need to break through it and develop completely new habits, completely new way of thinking. Because 2 years ago, I would just say, hey, I need to work harder. Now I just say I need to better people
Yeah, I
in
need
the
to
right
find
positions.
better people.
Exactly.
How can I meet smarter and better people? How can I extend my network? I like the point that you said where it doesn't, an entrepreneur is not defined by the amount of hours that they put in, because I hate when people are like, oh, I get 2 hours of sleep. And if you're, if you're an entrepreneur, you shouldn't be getting more
Bro,
than.
sleeping little is the biggest bullshit there is.
I know.
I
Oh
agree
my
to,
goodness.
dude. I agree to like, okay, if there's shit that needs to be done,
Agreed.
go and
There are
fucking do it
seasons for
done,
both.
100%.
There are
But
seasons
like,
for both.
I don't agree with these statements with people like, hey, you need to work hard, bro. Some of the laziest guys I know make 10 times more money than all of the gurus collectively
Amen.
online.
Amen. Yes. And like when you do actually work for those long, I've done it too. Like when you've probably done it as well as I have. When you do work those 12, 16 hour plus days, bro, all you're doing is like half of the time you're on your phone.
Half of the time you're
just-
watching, yeah, exactly. You're watching someone else succeed on
Yeah.
a half of your tab. On the left of your tab, you're trying to be productive. But if you would literally just lock in for 2
Bro, just
hours,
sleep 8 hours. And then
sleep
wake up,
8
work
hours.
4 hours.
Exactly. Like if you productively sit down, have a clear to-do list for these 2 hours, not for the day, but for those 2 hours. Okay, 15 minutes I'm spending on this. This is what I need to achieve. You will achieve way more than someone else spending 16 hours the same day on just bullshit and trying to do 700 things at the same time. Because what I would also recommend is set out a day where you focus only on one specific category of your business.
Yeah. So the framework I look at it, how I look at this idea is make a list of the things that you need to accomplish and judge yourself based off of the ability to be able to accomplish the things on that list, right? So if you're spending 30 hours on a project, it doesn't really mean anything. It really depends on how many tasks can you cross off of your to-do list. And most importantly, and this is the part where everybody gets it wrong, is taking that list and assessing, does it actually drive the business forward? Am I increasing marketing? Am I increasing sales? Or am I increasing fulfillment? And if it does none of those, if you're working on your damn logo for 14 hours, you're not working, bro. You're not working. That's it. And if you use that whole entire framework, stop judging how many hours so-and-so online works, because you don't need that. I can tell you full-heartedly, maybe I've spent maybe a good 7 to 8 days as a whole working 16 plus hour days. The rest of it's been, I get my stuff done. Nowadays I work a good 5 hours a day, and we make more money than what I was making before. So there's a correlation there somewhere.
Yes, and also if you have AI can literally reduce your workload on a daily basis by so much. Yeah. I have spent, how do you determine how much time you spend on things? By tracking them. What gets tracked gets improved. If you don't track what you do on a daily basis, how would you try to improve your workflow? Most people don't even know what they did 5 minutes ago. How should they know what they need to do for an entire year? So what is needed for them as a clear task? Put down a sheet where you track every 15 minutes of your day. Write down what have you done, what has been accomplished. If there has been nothing accomplished, flag it red. By the end of the week, sit down, go at your sheet, and then analyze what am I going to improve next week, and then set clear deadlines for all the specific things. Because if you fail to succeed by yourself, your team is determined to fail because you, as the leader, have failed on yourself.
Do you think that entrepreneurs making less than 10K a month should be using AI? I honestly don't think so.
I think they should just lock in a Claude
I don't think
Max
so.
and then just set up automations for things that...
No. I genuinely don't think if you're not successful already as an entrepreneur, you should not be using AI, because AI will make you a very lazy person, and not in the amount of work that you do, but instead in the quality of work. Because most people are now, I've seen this multiple times and it pisses me off, the amount of crappy videos and crappy copy that is just getting sent out because people think, oh, I got AI, I pay for the Max subscription, I'm good. This one's better, right? They use AI, they say write me 3 emails, and then they send them out. But when you actually are successful, I think in your pool, my pool, and people in the same level, doing 100K plus whatever business, that's when they actually should be leveraging AI the most, and that's when it's most effective, because then you have the ability to distinguish what is good and what is bad, and then tell AI and reinforce it on the good things and tell it to stop doing the bad things. If you're under that amount, it's deadly for you. It will actually ruin your ability to make more money.
I mean, definitely, you got to learn a skill that then enhances by AI.
Yeah.
But I still, even till today, if a copywriter writes a copy and I see this little minus, bro, I'm crashing the fuck out because I know they haven't double checked.
It's not a skill, it's a lifestyle.
Alhamdulillah, alhamdulillah, kifak habibi.
What are the 3 aspects of choosing a good vehicle?
I would say the number one aspect is money. So you need to choose a vehicle that will bring you to your required number that you want to earn in your life. Because nothing sucks more than choosing a vehicle that will never get you to your desired outcome that you always wanted to achieve. So choose a vehicle where you see other people making the money you want to be making.
Yeah, I haven't seen any billionaires become billionaires off of copywriting, writing emails for other people. But I've seen billionaires run massive agencies working alongside marketing and having people that work under them that do the copywriting. It's just about figuring out where you can position yourself in this like ecosystem that allows you to make the most money.
And what would you say is like the second most important aspect?
Second most important is definitely going to be like your actual skill. Like, what are you good at and what are you not good at? And like, I think more than that, going deeper into like, what do you actually like to do and what wakes you up in the morning? Because there's a lot of things that people just don't like to do that they have to do, even though they might be making $50,000 to $100,000 a month, but it still sucks, right? And if they can figure out, okay, what is the thing that I can do for the rest of my life or for a long period of time and not feel bored at all, and that might even mean just taking meetings or meeting new people, let me just focus on that. And let me see what opportunities allow me to do that at the highest level and get paid dollar per hour at the highest, right? I look at it as just every single type of business and every single type of job will pay you a dollar amount per hour. And it might be stretched out for, obviously, some people get paid big chunks at the end of the year. Some people get paid monthly, weekly, daily, whatever it may be. You're still looking at the dollar per hour. And then from there, deciding, well, does my skills, my interests, maximize the dollar per hour in the vehicle that I'm currently in?
I would summarize it by saying, not only should you focus on what makes you happy and what you would like to pursue for a longer period of a time, but also saying use the skill sets that you have as an individual that no one else has at that like maximum capacity. So to break it down, every one of us in school was good at one subject, right? And it was just coming to you naturally in a certain way. Now, this is also the same in business. For me, it feels very natural to come up with multiple marketing schemes, multiple marketing ideas.
You like it. It's fun.
I like it, but I'm also, because intrinsically I'm just a very creative person,
Yeah.
it feels way more easier for me.
Yeah.
But for me, it's harder to run up the operations. That's why I try to get hires in or people under my team that can help me and support me in aspects where I'm not good at. But I would say uniqueness of a person it's so super crucial, but most people just don't use it, and just they should focus on using the uniqueness of yourself and using things where you're naturally good at to outcompete everyone in the same industry. Because if you try to lock in things where you're not naturally surpassing everyone, both put in the same hours, you will automatically fail on the same exact thing.
The third aspect that would be good for identifying a vehicle is what you're optimizing for, if it's a big exit or if it's cash flow, and then adjust towards that. Like if you can say, well, in the next 5 years, I want to exit for 100 million. Well, that's how you identify what companies have exited in a span of 5 to 10 years for over 100 million. But there's people like ourselves that we're right now optimizing for cash flow and then slowly transitioning over. Keep in mind, the bigger vehicles take longer. They're on a long-term horizon, but yet they make way more money. But they don't have the advantage of being cash flow heavy in the beginning. Both make sense. It's just which one would you like to have?
I would agree and disagree, because the chances of you running up an agency that gives you $50,000 a month in cash flow is way higher than you ever exiting a business in your life. The chances of someone exiting a business are pretty much 1% or even less, right? So like I agree in a statement where like, hey, definitely try to figure out like what are other people doing and then what are you optimizing for. But for everyone that is starting right now, I don't think they even realize it, because if they have never been through it, they don't even know what is sellable. Because everyone told me an agency cannot be sold, but I still did it, right?
Yeah.
And I would say look at the difficulty of the business or the vehicle that you're going to, because the more difficult something is, the less people will go and do it, right? So if you choose one of the most difficult things where someone else has already succeeded, it will be way easier for you in the long run to become successful than choosing a vehicle where everyone is at and is trying to do a little bit, because you have way more competition already at the starting stage, right? So
Correct.
to give you an example, in gambling, everyone wants to start a casino, but to start a casino is extremely hard, and you need to have capital already up front.
Yeah.
So already the amount of people that will start that business is way less. I'm not saying you should start in casino. I'm just giving an example.
Well, that's where different vehicles are attainable at different stages of entrepreneurship. You're not going to start the casino day one with $0 in your bank account. But if you're already at, let's say, $1 million a month with your business, cash flow wise, take home 750 to 800. Well, now you can take that cash and deploy onto heavier cash heavy investments and cash heavy business opportunities that then allow you to kind of jump into the next vehicle. For example, a good example is real estate development, where the consulting side and marketing allows us to create a lot of cash flow, but actually doing developments takes anywhere from, at least a big development takes anywhere from $500,000 to $1 million in upfront capital. Now, which one will make more money on the long run? If I do 10 months worth of marketing and info selling, that will make me probably $1 million in cash. If I do 10 months of this, that will probably make me $2 to $3 million in cash. And so understanding that when you do get to those levels, or understanding that like you first need to start in this before you can get into that big pool. Not to say though that like you can quickly translate over very, very quickly. Like yourself, I mean, you've had experience with the agency, right? It's easier. It's not going to get you to that big number, but also you're getting exposed. And that's the most important thing. It's not just cash. And that's why I say like figure out what you're optimizing for, because if you have like almost done it where you've optimized it for not just cash, but also connections. And now you're one of the most connected people that I know personally that just has access to everybody. And so when you do decide, okay, well, the next vehicle is, let's say, an e-commerce brand or whatever you want to do, you have that whole entire network that you would have never received if you weren't in that agency.
100%. 100%. I would also say like if you're unsure if you're unsure about your current vehicle, there must be some sort of belief that this vehicle won't get you where you want to be. And I had that exact like belief when I have my just like standardized agency where we had a standardized service selling it to the exact same customer. And that's why I started reaching out to people that were doing partnership models, that were doing just e-commerce, that were doing VC. And then I figured out in the long run, okay, what is everyone doing? Where do I see myself in the future? What am I optimizing for? How difficult is it going to be the number one? Because if you're the number one NBA player, you can make maybe hundreds of millions. If you're the number one entrepreneur in a very large TAM, you can be a multi-billionaire.
When do you know when to switch the vehicle?
I feel like we're both in this point right now, when you feel like the amount of effort and the amount of knowledge that you know is reaching like a ceiling, and then you have to, in order to make more money, you now have to put in more hours. And you build up so much leverage in the vehicle that you're in, and it makes you good money. But then in order to go to the next point and the next level, let's say from 100K a month to $1 million a month, or $1 million a month to 10 million a month, you have to then say, well, I'm fully capped out. If I work 20 hours more, will that get me to that point, or will it just double whatever I'm doing, right? And if it just doubles it, well, you're not building enough exponential leverage to say my dollar per hour now jumped from whatever it was to 10x the amount. I think that's the perfect time to then analyze, like, it's time to jump to a different vehicle.
I would say by being curious, because if you're not curious outside of your industry, you don't know what is possible. So if you're just in your own bubble, which we all are, we're all in our own business bubble where we have started, where we have success, and so on. But if you're not curious enough to see outside, to look outside, and to look what other people are doing, what is possible out there, you cannot even identify a different vehicle that could bring you way further. To give an example, one of my extremely rich friends started off by running a small e-commerce store that was doing $10,000 a month. Then he identified that in one certain niche, an affiliate, he could make way more money with the same skill set. How is by being curious and I seeing, hey, these guys make way more money, they wear better watches, let me go ahead and ask them. That's why if you're born in the US, your chances also to succeed are way higher, because here you're just
Exposure.
you're exposed to way more wealth, and you can just go up to people and ask. And I feel like a lot of people are hoping and willing to get the permission to ask, but you should go and just go for whatever you want. If you see someone with a Lambo, go and ask him. He must be doing something, right? Yeah. Even if it's finance, even if it's rented, he must be better off than you, right? And I would also look at people in your industry that are 10, 100 times further than you, and then go to them, pay them a certain amount of dollars to just talk with them for 30 minutes. I have spent over $100,000 in the last 12 months just talking to people one-on-one. What had it brought to me is an extreme boost in my network, but on the other side, also understanding what I don't want. Because nothing is worse than choosing a vehicle where you spent a lot of time in, and then you end up one day rich as fuck, but you're gonna be like, without no hair, sitting there, fuck, this is something that I don't enjoy it, I don't like what I'm doing, now I need to switch. Because you have built so much already, like leverage, exponential growth already, you have a team, everything in place, but you don't like what you do.
So let me ask you then, okay, let's say you're exposed to those different vehicles and now your business is doing well. Let's do the same 10K a month guy. He goes from 10 to 100. When is it time for him to say, well, I need to jump ship and go to the next big thing?
I don't believe in burning all the boats and
I don't
everything.
believe in burning the boats either. I just think that
but like most people go in there and just like burn everything and go for the next vehicle.
I think it's
but
more
it's like
of a
run up
mental
the
thing.
same thing you have.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's who you are like inside. Like I was talking to my business partner actually yesterday, and he was talking about like how developers go bankrupt, and it's because they avoid the cash flow side. And most developers are just waiting for the big check to hit after a year, 2 years, 3 years. But I'm just like, dude, I think the people that can over leverage themselves while also having cash flow are going to see much bigger exponential returns than anyone else because they have the cash flow aspect. So it's not about, oh, I need to focus on one thing or, oh, I need to focus on the other thing. Like, I think that people are just too worried about almost like struggling in order to see like the biggest results. But in reality, I think that people can win a lot farther, a lot quicker if they just almost like take the easy route. It's just be like, okay, well, I have this working. I'm not going to just say, shut everything down. I'm just going to find a way to still make money off of it, provide for myself, and then build the next biggest thing.
But also to attach on that, that's why there are only 3,000 or 4,000 billionaires in the world, because they took an exponential amount of risks and put their balls on the table hundreds of times to get to where they are. And most people, when they have something working, they just still rely on that and continue with the exact same thing because 100%. They avoid the pain that they needed to go through to get to the next level, because it requires a different amount of human to reach a different amount of point, right? Like I needed to learn so much more to get where we're heading to. Next month we're about to hit, or no, this month, this month we're about to $250,000 in my net profit after taxes, after everything. Just fucking fantastic. Yeah. And next month I'm doubling that. Yeah. And that requires a complete different human, complete different skill sets. Yeah. And most people are not even willing to go so much trial and error and so many problems on a daily basis that they will just give up. And it's easier to give up than actually go and grow and outgrow that little version, that old version of yourself. And that's why I would say, like, I agree 100% to what you're saying, but that's why there's just so many, like, they say it's lonely at the top for a reason, you know? Like, to get to that, It's just like most people just give up on the way to the top, right?
How do you charge somebody when you had zero results in the beginning?
I mean, in simple terms, you just lie.
And
Wow.
I mean,
Just
yeah.
lie?
I mean, kind of like, right? If you're confident in yourself that you're able to provide results and somebody is on the fence just because you don't have the, I guess, the proof to back it up, then all you have to do is convince them in a different way. And so, yeah,
So
it's
like
technically
they
lying.
need to be confident.
It's technically lying, but it's also just selling them on something else other than, oh, I've worked with 20 other people doing the same exact thing. Like, you have the experience and you have the confidence.
But
and
how do they have the confidence and experience if they don't have any clients?
the practice is what I mean. Like, they've created the skill to in order to help somebody. Now, zero experience, yeah, you shouldn't be working with them at all. Like, I'm not going to go and tell somebody I can build a house and I don't know how to build a house. You know what I mean? But if I have the skills to be able to provide some sort of value, then yeah, I will try anything in my power to sell that person. And mostly, like, just add a guarantee or add something that will allow me to work with him at a low barrier of entry to him. Remove all risk from his plate. What about you?
But if you cannot back yourself up, I would just not sell anything. I would just work for free and build up my portfolio of like proof, and that proof funnels into my confidence that I can actually deliver. Like right now, to give a perfect example, you introduced me to a guy where I know I can make him $1 million in the next 30 to 60 days, aka software, you know. And like, how do I know it? Because I've done it fucking 17 times all over again. It's always the same process. So I am confident enough I can do that and I can charge a price based on that, right? If you have no proof and no confidence, just don't charge anything. Do it for free. Work your ass off for free for a certain amount of time. Build a skill set and then go and charge. Because if you charge right now, you can charge $1,000, $2,000. But if you just build, like if you go the longer path that sucks more, build up a discipline over 3 months, work hard, deliver crazy results, you can then go and charge 10, 20,000. But if you just go ahead and charge 1,000, 2,000, you're going to end up with the same customers. But if you just aim way higher and you say, hey, I want to make this amount of money, let me go to the most expensive clients and work my ass off there completely for free. Give them even a guarantee that I pay the money if I fail. Even if you don't have it, just do it. And then you build up a portfolio from there, and it's way easier to go from up down than from down up. It's way easier to have the best clients work for them for free, don't get paid at all, and then go to the middle segment that has money that they can pay you instead of going from shitty clients to way bigger ones, because then you just redo the same process all over again.
Yeah.
When entering a new vehicle, what is the quickest way to succeed?
I would say entering the market like a sponge and getting all information that is out there, just adapting towards it, learning from anyone and everyone, and then trying to understand who are the 3-5 people at the top and going to the number one. Usually the difference between number one and number two are just a small little tweaks, but those little tweaks will make the biggest difference in your life. So instead of settling for all these other guys that are in the market doing great, go to the best one, because he's winning for a reason. And that reason could be also why it feels maybe hard for you right now to succeed in what you do right now. Maybe it's just like you look at, I don't know, someone in your industry and he's doing, I don't know, a little bit better. Or let's say you look at someone in your industry that does 10 times better. If you would literally live with him for, let's say, a month, you would realize he's zero special than you. He's not any smarter, any better. He has only maybe 1 or 2 little things that brought him to this success. So I would literally say, enter the market like a sponge, learn from anyone and everyone, and go to the best players in the game, learn from them, and copy exactly what they do so you can succeed at a level and at speed that no one else could.
The way I would answer that is a little bit more technical. Same exact thing though. I think accumulate data as quick as possible, then create a hypothesis for success, and then fail as quick as possible.
But you would just enter the market and do it yourself.
I would accumulate data as quick as possible. So meaning, if I pay somebody, if we talk to the biggest mentors, if I just whatever it takes to understand what exactly is going on, because you're entering like a whole new different system. Yeah, you have your skills and everything, but you still need to see how your skills are applicable to this new game that you're playing. And once you understand the game, and once you understand what actually wins the game and who is winning the game, like you said, then you create a hypothesis and say, based off of the data that I already saw, this is how I think I'm going to win the game.
How would you get that data though?
I pay people.
What if so? Because I would say literally just use all your resources that you have
That
to
too.
accumulate data.
Yeah.
So if
Money.
you know someone
Money's
that
a
could
resource.
know someone,
Yeah,
use that.
connections or money.
If you have money that you can spend, apply money. If you have time, because time is also a big resource, try to do time intensive things that other people wouldn't do. What that
Yeah.
could be is reach out on 50 different ways and offer 50 different free things that you can help someone with. Fucking clean their garden, do something for the best people in that industry to get to get that data from them, to learn from them. Because by the end of the day, if you just have knowledge that is not applied, it doesn't help you. But if you can get the best knowledge from the best people just by spending a few months of your life on helping them, you can then use that knowledge for the rest of your life to succeed in whatever you want.
Agreed. The biggest mistake that I see happen, granted, and I'm not. Well, the biggest mistake that I see happen is people go into an opportunity or a vehicle creating their hypothesis before they actually have collected data. And they think, oh, I'm going to sell e-commerce by going door to door. Like, it's going to be crazy. Nobody's doing it, right? But they don't understand that the way of doing that type of marketing is probably the most time intensive, not as effective. They could be doing, spending the same amount of time doing something else and make triple the amount of results, or get triple the amount of results. So data, though, I look at it, there's two types of pools, right? Obviously I think you're talking more about like the beginner level. I'm more referring to like people who are already in a business model or already have started something and now are trying to start a new vehicle. Like they're just trying to jump into a bigger vehicle. And I think they're like people that like us are just able to use money. Money is a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful blessing from God, because money allows us to do things and get access to people and get access to rooms and get access to data that just no one can compete with us except people who have money as well. And usually those people are far and few, especially who are moving to a different vehicle. Now, if you start from the beginning, it's going to be a lot more time intensive, but we are entrepreneurs and we have things to do and our time is more valuable. And granted, I do agree that to do the things that don't scale, but also pay the money that most people won't.
But also, to give you an example, if you would just text right now a founder that has sold for billions, he wouldn't respond to you, because I have
100%.
tried it many times.
Yeah.
But I have found a platform where this guy was hosted at, and then I just paid him $500.
Easy.
And
Which
he
is a
spent,
cheat code, by the way.
it's crazy. But like most people don't understand that there is not a single way to do something. There are hundreds of ways, and you just need to find the one where you exceed at. I know that I can talk. I have a very good first impression if I meet people. Let me use that. Let me try to talk to this guy. Let me find out a few things. I had one question written down. If I had that answered, I would be happy, right? And I would be happy about knowing if this is the right vehicle for me or if it's not. How did I find out? If I asked him, how does your life look like, describe me your life on a day-to-day basis. That is the only thing that I want to know about the vehicle, because if I end up working 10 years on one vehicle, and if everything goes well, I do everything the exact same way, and I end up making a lot of money, how does my life look then? Because by the end of the day, I'm just optimizing on having the best life possible for me and my family. If it doesn't align with what I want, why should I even continue and do so?
You just have to try more things. Like 5,000 is such a low number that at that point, you're not really doing it. Like you see some signs of success depending on what you're selling, obviously, but like you're not really even scratching the surface. And so just doing more volume of what you're already doing, but then also trying more things and figuring out what is the most effective, let's say, outcome, or what is the most effective strategy to get the biggest returns, is the most important thing to do at that point. Like 5K, and then also reinvest everything. Like I'm sorry, like 5K, you should not be keeping a single dollar. You should just be reinvesting. Like keep a job until you get to like 20K, and then just live off of that, because that's just money that you could just be growing the company over and over again. Like I think every single company should be treated as a startup. Like figure out your minimum, and then the rest of the money just aggressively, like there shouldn't be a single dollar more in your bank account, especially in the beginning, that isn't spent on just either getting better as an entrepreneur or hiring people or running more ads or whatever it may be, just driving the business forward as a whole.
I mean, most people, like, I would say from $0 to $250,000 a month, it's pretty much by understanding how a video game works, right? So you start at level 1, you have absolutely nothing. What do? You try to get XP points. How do you get them? It's by understanding, meeting the right people, or killing some random mobs, right? In business, it's pretty much the same. You just need to find out, okay, who is going to give me money? Then you need to go to these people and offer them something to give you that amount of money. Now, you can go to a large TAM and sell one product to hundreds of thousands of people for cheap, or you can go to a few people but charge them quite a lot of money.
Yeah.
So from 0 to 10, charge extremely rich people, or from 0 to 10, find something that a certain human being would want and sell them that as many times as possible in a month, so you get to $10,000 a month. From 10 to 100, you need to find ways to leverage, because at 10, you already scrape by, you make a little bit of good money, you can live okay-ish, but it still isn't enough to call fuck you money at all, or
20,000?
live 10,000. It's
That's
like
not money at
not
all.
enough at all, right?
Yeah.
Yes, you're probably making more than your friends, but it's you're like still scraping by, right? So I would then go and try to find leverage. So it could be humans. So you maybe find 1 or 2 employees that could help you out, so you grow to 100. Or you find media, also leverage. You find systems, leverage. You try to find some sort of leverage point to go from 10 to 100.
What was your leverage?
My leverage, just, I would say AI. Like, it sounds so but I do the job of.
But now it's AI. I
Yeah.
feel like back then it was.
Yeah, but
it was
back
like
then I
your
couldn't
your
I
ability
wasn't
to
also
talk.
making money.
I think your leverage though was ability to talk, and that's what kind of got you to where you're at now.
I mean, but like back then I also wouldn't do the same amount of money, you know? Like,
Agreed, but
like right now I do the job of maybe 15 people
yeah,
on a day-to-day
That's true.
basis.
that is very true.
So like I would say AI is one of the best things that happen in the world, and if you're not using it, you're quite behind. But like I have no personal brand yet. I have
Yeah.
but I still get better talent than most of my competitors, you know? So it's like, how can that be?
Do you
How
think-
can I
do you think
outscale
AI
competitors?
will actually beat personal branding in terms of leverage down the line?
Yes.
I don't know. That's crazy.
Yes.
You think? I don't know. I mean,
Yes.
personal branding, AI will become so commoditized with everyone. But
Everyone
not
has.
everyone will
Okay,
know how
let
to
me
use
give
it,
you.
yeah.
Okay, but even if you do use it, bro, everyone can go to a gym. But why is 97% of like America fat?
Fat, yeah.
Why?
But I would say a personal brand's even more.
I mean, I'm not like like what I think is going to be the most important is to just have the right network. Because like if you have the
Yeah,
right
'cause-
network, you don't need to have anything.
Yeah.
You can just get access to whatever you want.
Yeah,
but
there's
like
billionaires that
if
don't have a
you
single video online. Yep. I agree, because there are now the AI, everybody's leveraging, not everybody, but there
I
are
mean,
people
AI
leveraging
and-
AI.
But look, why choose if you can have both?
Amen.
Why not do it both?
No,
Just
I agree, but which one do you think is going to be more effective?
more effective.
Like, not more effective. Which one, if you could only choose one, will be the winner? I think brand, dude. I just think, like, at least for the next 20 to 30 years, I still think that brand will allow you to create that network very quickly, more than AI will. And the people that master AI, I think, are just going to start working for other people. It's the same thing. I've already seen a lot of companies hire AI specialists to just sit in a desk for 8 hours and just mess around with Claude or like set up like some Claude bots or whatever.
Yeah, but you're talking about contractors. That's the same people as saying, hey, I have seen people that can get a lot of followers, but they sit for and work for someone, you know? So it's like talking about contractor level. But if you talk about actually AI and what it can do,
Yeah.
Hicksfield has grown from 0 to 500 million in the first year. I have never seen a personal brand do that. Have you?
500 million now.
I have never seen 50 million in a year.
But leveraging is what I'm discussing.
Yeah, AI is the biggest leverage point in the world. You can clone
For an
yourself.
entrepreneur.
Yeah. You can clone yourself, you can clone a team, you can clone systems, you can
That
do
is true.
anything.
That is true.
Adam, I heard you scaled the company from 0 to 1 million. Is that true?
Yeah, which one?
Ecom.
All right. Yeah. So we went from 0 to $1 million in 26 days, so not even a full month. And how we achieved that was by focusing on the fundamentals in a blue ocean market. So we saw a market that had a lot of demand and was making billions of dollars in retail, but we have seen that no one has actually attacked that market online. So we just went, literally took the same products, went to a manufacturer in China, created the product, and then started selling in the US, but in a D2C way. I think that's just it. That's just cool.
Which one was that one?
Hmm?
Which one was that one? Sell?
Huh?
Sell?
What? So-
You've sold that company?
No. She just asked me, did you make $1 million in 30 days? I said, yeah.
Oh,
I said,
you haven't sold the company yet.
Ecom and info. There was no company.
So why'd you take that client on?
Huh?
Why'd you take them on if they're making no money?
I was just sure of my skill set. Like realistically, I just knew. Just was a gut feeling. But if I would need to retrospectively look at it and say like why, I would say after a certain time or after many clients, you develop a gut feeling or like you develop an eye for how things look. And I just saw that, hey, this is definitely going to blow up because no one in that space is advertising in a way where we would. And we just tried it out. We just try it out and we saw, yeah, what we say, our thesis is right. And then we literally just doubled down. So instead of sitting there and being like, hey, we have success, we make like 50K our first day, we were like, okay, let's just completely lock down. There's nothing else we're going to do. Let's hire all the creators. Let's take all the money that we make day one, reinvest it, and let's grow this as hard as possible because it's better to have a small cut of a big company than a big cut of a small company. So we just decided to lock in and just fucking double down, scaled it up. And then I was like, hey, let me take the founder and brighten up his vision. Let me show him what is actually possible in e-commerce. So we flew out to New York City. We met up with the goats of e-commerce that are currently in their comfort from 0 to 110 million in, I believe, like 2 years. Danny from IM8, fastest growing e-commerce company, and so on and so forth. And he talked with these people. He interacted with these people. They've shown him what is possible. And if the founder doesn't see the end vision, any operator, anyone on the team won't surpass it. So my next thing wasn't show him how to scale that business, but show him
What
a
is
bigger
possible?
vision
Yeah.
that he can believe in. And he started to believe in, and he started from after that week, when he came back, he started operating from a completely different perspective and from a completely different mindset.
What has been those mindset shifts for you that would you say like in the past have unlocked that in your perspective?
I would say the biggest mindset shift was go and get it. Literally, it's just like stop asking for permissions. If you have something that is currently in your mind, go and get it.
Like what was your version of going to New York?
I mean, for me, it is the same motivation that I have from the beginning. It's just like to become the best version possible and through that to help my family to live their own lives on their own terms through my sacrifice, the pain that I need to go through to achieve that success so they can live on their own terms whenever they want and however they want without going through what I need to go through to achieve that level of success.
I see. You brought the guy to New York
Yeah.
City, and because of you brought it to him,
Yeah.
you showed him, wow, we can get to 100
Yeah,
million really quickly.
yeah.
Right. Before that, what was he thinking?
Oh, like 100K a day is quite a lot.
Correct,
Like,
yeah.
hey, like I don't know if we should spend this amount. Oh, I don't know if we need a creator. They're quite expensive. Like those were like he had like 700 limiting beliefs that someone has, and the problem is if you try to go to like 1 million, 2 million, 3 million in a month in e-commerce, the problem is you try to fix every small limiting belief. So you try to A/B test, you try to do this and this, like all these small things. But what you actually need to do is just go and fucking focus on the fundamentals, which is
For you, what was it?
For me,
Yeah.
I don't have. I'm just.
I'll tell you mine. Mine was like there's two different examples. One of them was the first time I ever went to Miami. I actually met a famous creator that is online in the e-commerce space, and he was 21 years old at the time, making $400,000 a month. And I said, "What?" I was 20, and I'm like, "How the 400,000?" Like, I knew 100K was like okay, even 100K was like crazy, but for somebody to make $400,000 a month, for me, I was like, okay, well, I'm thinking way too small. And then ever since then, I was able to readjust my mind and say, 100 is attainable for sure. 500 is attainable for sure. And now, I mean, the second time now is meeting like some of these people that are doing 1 million a month, 5 million a month, that are like human beings. You know them, I know them, and they just do it. They just are able to become the person and be able to create the business and the system that allows them to generate that type of money on a monthly basis. And then there's people that also have done, I mean, $1 billion in a year, which is, I mean, almost 100 million in a single month, right? Granted, those people have that revenue come in one single chunk, but $1 billion in a year is like pretty crazy. And the person is the same person. Like he's just a regular human being that just understands how to create a system that gets him to that part, like how to create a system that actually accomplishes the goal that he set out to do. So seeing those things now opens my mind to just think, whoa, like I can go way harder and we can grow a lot quicker and we can take this way farther than I ever thought possible. For you, do you have an experience like that? I know you worked for pretty interesting people in the past, so do any of them?
To be honest, I just since the beginning, I watched a YouTube video where there were 5 guys trying to guess a millionaire, and that was like the biggest limiting shift that I have. To be honest, like, hey, these guys all work for like less than 5K, and this one motherfucker has a Bugatti at like 26. That was like a crazy limiting belief that just like, hey, it's not even possible, but it is.
Yeah.
That shifted quite a lot.
I
But
mean,
from
even in
there, it's
Dubai.
just like I try to build a persona that attracts people that are way bigger than me by having a skill set that even billionaires would need. So for me, like, I just attract people that talk numbers that I couldn't even fathom like a year ago, like 100 million in a year, 0 to a million. Bro, that's 12 million run rate in the first 26 days. Like that was just unrealistic.
Insane.
And that is an exit potential of like 25 million in the first year, like 25 million net after tax, after everything, cash to you send to your bank
My
account.
bank account, yeah.
It's like just because you have a skill that you understand and are just like
Yeah, you
best
become
at.
essential to billionaires and
I'm
really
like
wealthy billionaires.
my skill set and what I do and how I position myself is just crucial and valuable for anyone. If he makes $1 million, if he's a small flower shop, if he's a multi-million-dollar company or a billion-dollar company, if you're great at marketing, bro, you become gold for everyone. But the best marketers have a choosing problem. Like for us, the biggest problem
There's
is not
too much-
leads, but
there's
we
too
just
much
get
stuff.
too many people.
Yeah.
Like I get like literally, you saw
I
it
mean,
like
I just threw you the deal right now.
yeah
Like in 2 seconds.
like so many people just fucking flood the inbox if you're good at
Yeah.
what you do.
Yeah. I agree.
At any point, did you ever think you weren't built for this?
For me, just no,
Never.
never.
If you're half like, you just need to understand that business is just solving problems. And if you can solve a problem, have you ever been able to solve a problem for anybody? Yes. Well, you have the opportunity to create a business. It's the same exact thing. The only difference is that you are now hiring people at a higher level to solve those problems for you and get paid way more money.
And the bigger problems you solve, the more money you make.
Yeah.
So if you solve big problems from extremely rich people, you make a lot of money. It's literally like the formula is there. That's it. That's all you got to do.
Agreed.
What does a good operation look like for $1 million company?
My biggest focus for operations right now is mostly looking at how aligned the team is and how big the vision is. Because at $1 million a month and trailing on to 8 figures a year, you're now in hiring mode 24/7, and you're hiring really smart people that are always on the verge of getting poached by other companies. I mean, you probably know a little bit of that. And so,
What do you mean?
and so you need to make sure that they're 100% bought in, because they're going to be driving the company. In reality, like at this point, you're just like their biggest, supporter, and they just do what they need to do. So as long as you're able to maintain the vision and show them that the other side of this journey is bigger than anything else and more valuable to them than anything else they could be doing, they will stick for a very long time. And that's it. Hire more people and make sure they stick.
Only 0.1% of companies ever get to $1 million, and that is because they don't understand how to hire the right people and then incentivize these people to grow inside that company. So you want to have multiple solopreneurs in your company that drive the company forward, so you're not the only responsible one to drive it.
What is the number one factor that made you guys 10 mil in your early 20s?
As Warren Buffett famously said, it's not about how hard you row, it's about the vehicle that you're in. That's all that matters.
It is.
There are people that are working far less than us, making hundreds of millions of dollars.
They are, because they're in a way more scalable vehicle. It's like you can sell a product to one person for $1, which can be extremely hard because you need to convince them, you need to call them. Or you can sell the same exact product to a way richer human being and get $1 million for it.
Yeah, but more than that, I mean, there's the person that is, let's say, cutting grass, who has cut grass for 20 years, gets paid $10 an hour, works 8 hours a day, and the person who owns the landscaping company is making way more money, working less, not as intensive labor work.
And the developer who builds everything,
And the developer who owns the whole entire house makes the most money.
facts.
And then the person who owns the whole subdivision makes even more money.
And then the fucking city owner.
I mean,
But let's
yeah.
just give them like a feasible example. What is like more like, I like that, but like that's very real estate, bro. Most people don't even know.
No, landscaping. Cut grass. Somebody's outside cutting grass for $10 an hour right now. Somebody owns the landscaping company that sent that guy out to go cut that grass, who's making who knows how much. His company's worth how much. And he's just building a big company, not having to work as hard, not having to be out in the sun. And it's just all about understanding your positioning in the market and positioning in the business. That's it.
It is.
I say it like this, and I know I told you this before, like, I believe if you're really good at something, like you're the best at something and you're a specialist, you will most likely end up working for somebody else.
100%. That's why the best marketers always work for the
Work for someone
most, like, I always joke about it, but the smartest marketers work for the dumbest entrepreneurs,
Very true.
isn't it?
Very true. And the smartest engineers work for the, I would say, dumber entrepreneurs.
It's facts.
Yeah.
It's facts. Because, like, as I said before, it's not about how good you are as a person, how good your skills is, but how can you provide tools, or how can you provide the right toolbox to the right team for them to succeed, right? And back to the vehicle, like, it determines also how far you can think, right? A contractor thinks in hours. The landscaping company thinks in, okay, for example, weekly return on each contractor, right? And then the developer thinks in, okay, in 2 years of time, What do I need to have on my property? What needs to be done so the value is as high as
Maximizes,
possible
yeah.
and that I can sell it for the highest price? So the way these people think and the way these people approach their life, their daily things, their daily thoughts are also completely different.
Yeah, I would just summarize it as like the way they're able to provide value to the market is the way that they're going to be dictated on how much they make. So one provides value by just cutting grass, the other one provides value by making a phenomenal home. And the only difference is that the value of the phenomenal home is just perceived to be more valuable than cutting the grass, and that's all it is. Not to say one is more skilled than the other one. I think it just skill and experience are two completely different things. I think you could be very skilled and not have like somebody could be very skilled and have nowhere near the amount of experience that you have, and you'll still run laps on them.
100%. I mean, like, by the end of the day, it's literally, there's like, let's give an example. You can either take a skateboard, you can either take a bike, you can take a car, you can take a supercar, you can take your hypercar, you can take the fucking bus. But by the end of the day, you need to know at which speed do you want to drive, because each of those has its own difficulties.
Unless you take a yacht.
So you can take a car and just go from A to Z, but maybe your car is going to break up at the middle of the way. You need to know how to fix it. You need to know some people that can fix it. On a bike, it's very normal. Like, you just drive very slow. Your tire pressure maybe goes down. You pump it up and you drive again, right?
Yeah.
In a bus, yes, way more people can fit. It fucking takes way longer, but you can take way more people with you. Are you going to go as fast, as far as like the supercar? No, most likely not. But you need to know what are the things that will most likely happen if I take this vehicle, and what gives me, as the persona that I am right now, with where I want to develop myself to, the highest chance to success. Because no one can guarantee anything, but if the probability game is played right, there's so much like power for you to just succeed. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, it's
Well
the
said.
game of probabilities. Like if you as a human don't enjoy stress, if your stress tolerance is like very low, how you can measure that is literally just by looking at your own life. If something small happens in your household and you're already freaking out, like the chances of you running a large company or hiring 15 people in the last 2 weeks is 0 to none. Like,
I have a good question for you though.
yeah.
Because we were talking about this actually a couple of days ago. Do you think stress is binary, or do you think that you can be more stressed or less stressed? And what I mean, and this was my idea of it, I think that stress is binary because you can either be stressed or not stressed. And the reason why we were talking about this is because in life you're always going to be stressed. There's no, like, the billionaire is stressed, the poor person is stressed. One is stressed about having too much money, and one is stressed about not having enough money, right? Now, the difference between people who can find success longer and see more results is how long they're able to keep that switch on of stress. So it's not measured by how stressed you are, but instead how long you can actually keep that stress going. So do you think that stress is more of a binary thing, or is it more of it's just like a meter that continues to go more stressed?
I think it's a really good question. I just feel like the stress level is the same from a poor human to a rich human, but the cause of the stress is the only thing that changes, because your brain doesn't understand what causes that stress. It just gets that emotion, and that causes like that stress feeling, right? So the cause is the only thing that changed. The cause can be that your yacht got parked in the wrong, literally in the wrong like field or in the wrong like location. But the stress can also come that you dropped your keys in front of your door. You can literally receive the same stress. But the tolerance of that stress, that's actually what matters. It's like how good you deal with that stress tolerance. Because like if to give an example, if someone that is extreme, like reached extreme amounts of success, If his keys drop, he doesn't give a flying fuck. He just picks them up and goes his way, right? But if an extremely poor human, his stress tolerance is nearly to fucked. Like if he drops his keys, he's gonna be like fuck, my day is ruined. Fuck this shit, and like just fuck up his entire day because of one small thing that happened. So I would say it's like the cause of stress changes, but the level of stress doesn't.
From a physical standpoint, your body is still releasing cortisol. Like the biggest concept that I've understood as time goes by and success continues to grow and business has bad months and has good months is that there will always be stress. And I remember learning this when I was a server working, I think it was like a 12-hour day, and I was stressed out. And the only thing I can remember was I'm going to be stressed when I run a business, and I'm going to be stressed when I'm a server. The only difference is that one is stressing for my dream, the other one is stressing for somebody else's dream. So just choose which stress you're willing to tolerate and who you're stressing for exactly.
Yeah, that's a really good one. I like that one.
Because pain is inevitable. That's a human condition. Like we are always going to experience downturn. Emotions experience everyone, some more than others. Money makes you happier. Every dollar after $75,000 a year is proven to make you happier. But you're still going to be stressed. And I think the billionaire that thinks that he's not going to be stressed when he makes all this money and sacrifices everything else ends up mostly depressed.
Would you say stress is something bad?
No. I think stress is a part of life. It's like
but
being
isn't
happy.
it interesting that 99% of humans that you talk to always say they just want a peaceful life?
Yeah.
But that's a condition that can never be achieved because stress is
Inevitable.
inevitable.
But it's funny that the idea that if you understand that you're going to have stress, you're actually going to be more peaceful in life. Like if you know it's coming, you're already prepared for it. Instead of the person that thinks that everything is going to go good and has very high expectations for their life, and then the first thing that something wrong happens that didn't go their way, and now they're absolutely shattered. Exactly what you just said with their key thing. Like they're just absolutely crushed from a small mishap because life is never perfect, and there's always going to be mistakes made. And the person that understands, that's kind of what happens. Like we launch something, it fails, or we launch something and it succeeds, and we just keep going.
And it's also if you see, like I have experienced this by working with many entrepreneurs through my vehicle, that is the agency. And it's like first-time founders get stressed and obsessed about so many small little things. Second-time founders, way less. Third time, fourth time, fifth time founders, they don't give a flying fuck about anything that is small, that is under their radar, that can be just fixed.
Yeah. No, but to add on to what you're saying, I actually saw a video that made sense. And I think this was like one of the gifts that God gave me is to look at things not from face value, but just like analyze them and apply them to my life. I watched this video from Bia Heza where he was trying to start an e-commerce company in 30 days and scale it up to, I forget what the number was. The thing is that there's a very crucial part where he talks about his ads performing and his cost per acquisition was a little bit either break even or a little bit under break even to what he was making profit per product. And he says it very clearly. He goes, this is the part where most people are going to fail and most people are going to quit because they think that everything isn't working. And then he says it with so much conviction. All you have to do from here is switch, a couple things, switch your landing page, increase your average order value, things that sound complex but are very simple terms. Switch all this and it begins to work. And he shows you in that video how things slowly start progressing and slowly start climbing. And it's the same exact thing that happens. Like now that we work out of so much conviction, we know exactly what needs to be done because it's not, we're not gambling. We just take educated decisions on data that has presented in the past. And from that data, we have gained the conviction to say, well, if I do X, we will get Y. And that's all that matters. All right, so collectively, we've done over multi-8 figures with your businesses, my businesses. And these are the most important things that we're focused on to get to the next level and to continue to grow from where we're already at, which is honestly pretty good for most people. So comment down below what topics that we just discussed over would you want us to go further into. And
Maybe we can run up a deep dive.
yeah, deep dive in a master class.
So if you guys enjoyed this, like, subscribe, and I guess we'll see them in the next one.
We'll see you in the next one.